Welcome to a new video. I am back on the bank. Well, actually, I'm in the van. I've just gotten to the car park and I've come up to a local little estate lake and I'm going to be hunting down some pike. Now, the weather today is miserable. It's really cold and it is currently snowing. Now, normally I would film a bit of a sequence going down to the lake, showing you the surroundings and that sort of thing. But because it is so bad, the weather, I'm going to just put all the camera gear in the bag, get down to the lake, get set up, put the brolly up, and then start filming, because otherwise everything's just going to get ruined and I'm going to end up with a broken camera. So we've only got a short session. I've got about 2 hours of fishing time by the time I'm probably actually set up and going. So let's get on with it. I'm going to go and put the waterproofs on, get the boots on, head down to the lake and see if we can catch a pike today. So yeah, very miserable conditions. I think it's going to be hard work. I've also got a bit of a sort of dodgy throat at the moment. I think I might be getting a cold or something because my throat feels like it's going, but I'm hoping a bit of fresh air might kill that off and clear it a bit. But anyway, let's see what we can do. Let's go and get sorted. Let's get on the move. Let's go and catch a pike.
Flick. There we go. That is in there. And I'm going to just flick this literally into that gap down there. The rods are out. I've got one just in between this outflow and the bank here, just in the middle where it's a bit of a root coming through. And I've got one under the trees on that far side. I'm going to fish in here for a bit, see how it goes. I've got a few options to sort of cast around the swim and move the rods around, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've got the bite alarms on the pod today with the drop off, so sort of proper sort of dead baiting style. And yeah, we'll see how we get on.
Right then, well, the rods are out, we are fishing, and it is cold today. You can see my breath. I think it's only about 2 or 3 degrees, but I'm hoping the fish are going to be active and looking for a bit of food in this cold weather. I think they might be a bit lethargic, to be honest, because we've had loads of rain recently, and then we've had some snow today, and I just think the water temperature is going to be really, really cold. So I'm not sure how up for it they're going to be, but I think if we can at least catch one fish and get that one bite, then it's probably well deserved and a success. So I'm going to go and put the kettle on. My throat is actually starting to cause me a bit of bother, so I'm hoping a warm drink might sort it out. So I'm going to go put the kettle on, have a brew, sit back and relax. I think today is going to be a bit of a chilled session. I've only got a few hours actually fishing, so I think I'm going to probably stay put, just move the rods around in the swim that I'm in. I'm actually towards the dam, and it tends to be a reasonable area for the pike, so I'm hoping that if I move them around I might eventually find a fish and get that bite. So anyway, I'm going to go get back under the brolly, stick the kettle on and have myself a drink. I'll catch up with you in a bit.
Right, well, I have been fishing for near enough 45 minutes now, which is quite unusual for me. Normally when I'm piking, I fish for 20 or 30 minutes in the swim, and if nothing's going on, I move the rods around or just move to a different area. But because the weather is absolutely minging, I have decided to just stay put today, just chill a bit and have a bit of a relaxed day, which probably will go against me, and if I blank I'll probably regret it. But we do need to enjoy our fishing and chill and just relax now and then, and that's kind of what I'm doing today. It's a bit of a bonus session for me, it's a bonus video for the channel. If we get one, absolute brilliant, but if we don't, it's just nice getting on the bank. So hopefully if I don't catch anything, you still get something from the channel or from the video, and you can appreciate just being out on the bank, getting some fresh air, getting on the bank and just getting away from home and all the other stuff and just enjoying it. So it's been a bit slow, to be honest. I mean, the conditions are rubbish. If I'm honest, the conditions are absolutely rubbish. We've had a load of snow this morning. I dropped the lad off at school, debated what to do, and nearly went on the river. I was going to go and trot down a float for the grayling, then I thought maybe I'd do a bit of chubbing, but I decided actually I'm going to just go piking because the kit was all ready to go. So I dug out some dead baits, chucked them in the freezer bag, chucked it all in the back of the motor and come out. So I've only got a few hours fishing, but it was the best option, I thought, with the time I had and the conditions. So yes, it's not great. I think at the moment it's probably 2-3 degrees. I've got 2 jumpers on and my waterproof jacket, so it is quite cold, although I'm really comfortable. But yeah, we just have to hope it happens. But I'm going to redo the rods in a second, move them around as much as I can, try and search out some fish, and hopefully we have one before we go. But for now, I'm going to polish off the coffee, enjoy sitting here, being outdoors, and hopefully we can show you a fish before we have to go. The water today is very, very cold. We've had snow and rain, and I do think that pike are going to be a little bit slower on the uptake with finding the baits today. So I thought I'd leave them a little bit longer than normal, but it hasn't produced anything, so I thought I would make a recast. Now, I've got quite a bit of bank down to my right hand side opposite me, and it does look nice for it, and I have caught along there before, so I'm going to cast them a little bit further down the bank and see if anything happens. But before doing that, I thought what I'd do is to show you the rig a little bit closer up. Now, it's nice and simple. My dead baiting is really, really simple. It doesn't need to be complicated for pike. So all I've got is 15-pound main line. This is mono. I think it's 0.35. I've then got a running ring just on there, which I've mounted a lead on. I use a little quick link on there so I can take the lead off, so when I'm packing up or moving, it makes it easier. I haven't got a lead sort of dangling around, banging against the blank of the rod. On the end of there, the main line is tied to a very large, it's actually a sea fishing snap link. The reason for that is it's easy to change. When you've got cold hands, when the weather's freezing and that in the winter, it's much easier to change a large clip like that than fiddle around with little ones. And I don't actually have a swivel on the main line because I attach the swivels directly to my trace. So all my traces are made up with a swivel attached. And that way, I don't need to have it on my main line. And that means when I get to the lake, essentially, I can use the clip. As you can see, I can take the rig off, or as I'm setting up, put the rig on. Also, if I get a fish, I can unclip the trace, move the rod out of the way with the lead and everything, and just leave the trace here attached to the pike. Then I can lift it out and unhook it without obviously all the other stuff attached to it, which makes it so much easier. But yeah, so the snap, the swivel to the trace just goes onto the snap link, that locks it on, and it allows me to obviously just attach my trace. So it's nice and easy and quick. And then I just make up pre-made, my own sort of pre-made traces. This one is 18 inches because that is the rules on this lake. It's got to be at least 18 inches and above. So I've got an 18-inch tracer, 40-pound wire. I've got 2 size 4 semi-barbless trebles. Don't know if that's going to focus on it for you, but they're semi-barbless trebles, and that means one of the points on each treble has got a barb, and you use that one to attach it to the bait, in this instance a smelt, and then the other 2 are barbless, and those 2 are the ones that hook the fish. So it's easy to unhook the fish and you haven't got barbs on there, so it's not going to cause you too many problems. But today I'm using a smelt. You're not allowed to use freshwater baits on this lake, so I'm using a smelt. I think these are the closest you can get to a freshwater bait without them being a freshwater bait. So they don't add the same sort of smell, I don't think, to most saltwater fish. So they taste a little bit like cucumber. It's really strange, but the fish like them, the pike love them. So anyway, stop talking and let's get this back out, because I ain't going to catch them when the rods are lent against the brolly, am I? So let's sling them back out there. Let's try and catch one.
Well, as you can see, I've repositioned the rods then. They're in different areas now, so just trying to search out some water and see if we can find one of these pike. Like I said, there is a reasonable stock in here of pike. There's quite a lot of jacks, so I would expect there's got to be somewhere around looking for an easy meal, and hopefully it does happen. I mean, it's prime time now. The light levels are starting to go. We've probably only got about an hour of light left. I do have to pack up before last light on here. Just due to the rules, really. You've got to actually pack up by 4:30, which is just before sort of last light on here now. Last light's probably like 4:45, 5 o'clock. But yeah, it's still more than decent enough time to try and pick one up. And to be fair, with the light levels today, it's overcast and grey and miserable. It's probably going to get dark earlier anyway. So the light levels have been pretty crap all day. So I'm pretty sure it's going to get dark earlier. So we might even be able to fish up till dark. But anyway, hopefully we get one. I do want you guys to just take getting out on the bank from this session if nothing happens, because I've had a lot going on recently at home. A lot of stuff going on family wise, and sometimes, you know, putting out videos all the time, it is a lot of pressure, especially when you've got other jobs as well. You know, I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I still try and put out a weekly video. Recently I've been putting out 2 videos a week, so I've been able to get out fishing more, but I've also got a lot of other stuff going on at home. Hugh's got his stuff going on as well, and so it is quite a lot of pressure to keep putting out content. So although I really enjoy it, I love the editing and filming process, which is why I do it. I don't do it just because I want to see people watch the videos. I do it because I really enjoy the process. I love capturing stuff on film and then creating a video and just watching it back and thinking, like, how cool is that? You know, that documents my day really well. So it's really nice for me to reflect on, but I know that you guys obviously get somewhat from it as well. So hopefully you still get somewhat from these videos, even though they're a little bit rough around the edges at times. You know, some of these bonus videos sometimes are a little bit more raw. They're a little bit more sort of rough, but they still tell a story and they still give you an insight into our fishing. So hopefully you still get something from them. Oh, I've just had a bang on the right rod. Oh, I'm in.
Right, well, we got ourselves our croc. It was the rod that was a bit closer on the far side that went off. Unfortunately, I don't think the actual GoPro captured anything because it had some sort of error, and it seemed to be filming, but the screen went blank. So I've got a feeling it's probably not on camera. So unfortunately, you might not have seen that, but we have got our fish. It is a very small little jack. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the unhooking mat up here, lift him out, unhook him, and then let him go. So I'm not going to mess around showing him to the main camera because he's so small. If it was a decent fish, you know, maybe 7 or 8 pound, I might lift it up, but it's probably about 4 pound to be honest. So we're just going to unhook it and let it go. So let's grab the mat and do that. It's starting to snow again. There we go. Very small little jack, but it's a bite on a day which, to be fair, is absolutely pants condition. So let's get him back. You never know, might have time for another one. Let's try and go into those trees again.
Wow, what a result that was then. We've had our fish. Like I'm saying, the conditions look rubbish, and it does just happen like that. Fish switch on and you get that bite. And it's interesting that I was doing an update and the rod pinged out and I had a little rattle. So yeah, only a little jack.
and I don't even think I got it on film. I think the GoPro ended up having a fault, which was a bit of a shame. It put up a nice little scrap, to be honest, but I'm using some softer rods today, so although I'm using like £15 mainline and I'm using my normal sort of traces, they're sort of, I think they're like £37 or £40, they're around that. Can't actually remember what the wire is, but I know it's around the £40 mark. The rods are actually quite soft, and it's because they're actually my Zander rods. Now normally I use them with the £15 line, but with like £20, £25 traces for Zander, with like single hook fishing on the canal and stuff like that, which I haven't actually filmed any of that for you yet, so hopefully we get some of that on film before the weather gets too Baltic. But yeah, I tend to use them for my Zander fishing on the canals, and I decided to bring them out today just because they're nice and light. They're only 8 foot, but I know there's a lot of jacks in here, and the chance of catching a big fish is quite slim, and it's quite open. There's a lot of water for a big fish to run around and tar itself out, so I'm not going to get any issues really with that. But it does mean that I get to enjoy the fight more when I catch the smaller fish. So although the rod's softer, everything else is still nice and strong. So yeah, don't go worrying about, you know, I'm fishing unsafe. I'm not. Everything's safe. It's just I'm using a slightly softer rod to enjoy the fight, because that's what it's about. We're going fishing to enjoy it at the end of the day, and if you don't enjoy the fight, what's the point? So anyway, the rod's back out there. I've put it in the same place, to be honest. Don't normally do that, because what I do find is pike don't tend to shoal up that heavily on lakes like this. They tend to sort of be moving around a bit, but I've had a bite. Chuck it out there, see if it happens again. So anyway, I'm going to get the kettle on and see if I can squeeze in another coffee before I need to go. I've only got maybe half an hour, I think, before I need to go. So I'm going to quickly bang out a coffee, and then you never know, we might have another one before we have to go. So let's keep those fingers crossed. Right then, we are back at the van, all the kit is loaded up, and that is the end of the session. One thing I just wanted to mention before going is I've just took my clothing off. I was wearing the ProLogic Storm Safe, which is not insulated, but it's essentially an extra barrier, and it's fully waterproof. And I've just taken it off, and since taking it off I feel absolutely freezing. So it just shows how much that even that thin layer of wearing that on top makes a difference to how warm you can be. And it's something really important to think about going into the winter, is obviously staying warm and comfortable, because if you're not, you're going to give up and you're going to go home, or you're not even going to bother going out. So the kit nowadays is so efficient at keeping us warm that you shouldn't really feel cold when you're on the bank. You should be taking enough layers, wearing the right clothing, and you can stay nice and comfortable, and you can come out in conditions that, to be honest, were pretty pants, and still get yourself a bite. So there's always a bite to be had. So hopefully you've taken that from this video. Even if the conditions are rubbish, choose the right species, choose the right venue, and there is a bite to be had. Just depends on what you're going to go for. So anyway, hopefully you've liked the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button if you are new, and remember, if you're going out fishing, just enjoy it in your own terms, and just get out there and have some fun, because that is what it's about. It's not always about chasing the big one, it's not about catching the monster, it's about enjoying it, having fun, and just getting outside and having some time to yourself. On that note, I'm going to finish it there. So get out on the bank, be lucky, and I will see you next Tuesday at 6:30 in the evening for another video. Yeah, that was going to go in the tree. Oh, the bacon off.